Check, check, 1, 2. Okay. So we should be good to go. uh, Ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. After all this time, 6 years of the original game, Overwatch 1. Apparently this one was only in development for 1 year, Overwatch 2, because they pulled everybody off the fucking project to put them on the PvE side. It was nice of them. So for 3 years at least, the game sat there in a pretty frozen state. The odd balance change, or I should say balance fuck up, for the most part. And now we have this. Of course, they went from, for those who don't know, from a boxed copy sale of the game, that was Overwatch 1, where you bought the game. You had everything there. You could go in and play all the characters. There was no limitation. The only real grind in the game was if you wanted to get a certain skin out of a loot box, then you're either going to grind the loot boxes by winning matches and whatever else, whatever other ways you can get them, or buy them, right? Purchase the loot boxes. Of course, that all started to go south when, senators in the States and shit like that started talking about fucking, essentially this is gambling. It's all, you're buying something that's got a random chance of something happening, aka getting a skin. So a lot of these companies started to move away from that before legislation came into effect, or laws, that prohibited such shit. So they kept that system anyway for, from what I understand, it was, well, to me it was a bullshit system, period, but I guess some people looked at it as being a little more fair than some of the predatory games out there, the way they operate. But either way, Blizzard wasn't happy or content with this. People didn't like the loot boxes. My account, when it got merged, I was initially on the PSN with Overwatch, and then I went out and got a PC copy of the game, because I built a new PC here, and so then I merged the two accounts. So when they finally went from Overwatch 1 to 2, they wanted to basically screw the user base by going free to greed, or free to play as I like to call it. So I think that's where they probably spent most of their year of development, was trying to actually get a system like that in place that was like woven into the game and ready to go. There's only 3 new heroes that are new in the game. 2 of those we'd already seen like long before this game was even ready to go. They're not. Sojourn seems alright. The healer, she seems to be like sort of a pain in the ass to use. The Kiriko, because of the aim and all that stuff. But before we even get to any of that, what happened on October 4th, right? That's the big deal. So the game was released October 4th. It was supposed to come out 3 p.m. Pacific, which I'm on the East Coast, so I guess they launched it on the West Coast. So which would have been 12 o'clock their time, noon time. And sure enough, me and a bunch of buddies there that had the game, I had it on PC. Oh, another guy had it on PS4, another guy had it on PS5. We were all in fucking chat on the consoles, and waiting for this thing to, for it to spring up. Around about 3 o'clock, we start checking. Me and the one guy, me and YOLO, or Void Zero, you see his name in game. About 3 o'clock, we got, how do you want to put it? You can finally hit the play button, like in this case with me on the PC and the Blizzard launcher. You can hit the play button, and something started to happen, right? Prior to that, it was all, you could hit the play button all you want, nothing happened. So at least the game was trying to load. Then when the game loaded, as you can see as I'm sitting here talking about this, you were looking at something like this, where you were in queue, but the first, I've even screenshotted this, the actual first screen that I seen that said I was in queue, said I was in like fucking line, and there was 20,000 people ahead of me. YOLO on his end was getting up to 40 and 50,000, like it was ahead of him. And so this queue shit would sit there for a while, and then it might go down, and it might even look like it's actually going to get down to 0, and then it would go right back up to 40,000, 20,000, whatever. So in my case, so the game was supposed to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. I didn't actually see inside, like I didn't get in fucking game itself until maybe about 10 o'clock that night. So from 3 p.m., about 10 o'clock, maybe I got in there. But then I noticed something right away. Half my shit was locked. So for some reason, when they were transferring everything over, despite the fact that I got 4,000 hours combined between the PC and the console in the game, and I'm not clearly not a new user, somehow the game was treating it like that. And all the shit that a new user would see coming into the game with no experience, no previous experience either, basically a lot of the characters are locked. You got a select few that you can use and that's it. Well, that's what I was seeing. The system where you could buy things in-game, like with credits and all that stuff, that wasn't working either. In fact, a lot of things didn't even have prices. So because I had so much currency coming in from Overwatch 1 off the PSN, almost 300,000 gold, I guess if you want to call it that. And that ends up getting transferred over. I could see, it took me a while to figure out where that was, but I could actually see it. It's actually under the Overwatch coins. There's a little eye that you hit that and it'll drop down the current coins that you have, the Overwatch 2 coins, and then also your legacy currency. Then they got the Overwatch League tokens, and they also got the comp points that you get. But you got to hit that little eye to see that. So I went in and I checked out a couple of the charms or trinkets, whatever the fuck they're called, and there was no prices on anything. So even that shit wasn't working. The prices weren't coming over. You couldn't purchase anything. So I didn't even bother playing the game. I just logged out. I should have thought about that one. And then logged back in, and then of course you're back in this fucking shitty queue again where you gotta wait all this fucking time. And then the next time I try it, I can purchase one of the fucking charms, but the actual transaction doesn't go through. So even though it looked like it went through on my side, when it got done that, I still didn't have that where I could equip it to a weapon. It just wasn't there. It wasn't unlocked. And it even had the unlock thing on the fucking, like the button on the screen. You could hit that, nothing would happen. So I said, alright, so at about 3 o'clock a.m. now, so we're full 12 hours after this thing's supposed to be fucking launched, I basically log out of the game, log back in again, and now all my characters are there this time. The only one locked is Kiriko, and that's because of the fucking 2-week PvP shit before you can get her into comp. So that was straightened out at 3 o'clock. It wasn't until the next day that I tried to purchase that, like the charm thing again, and that seemed to work the next day. So as far as I can tell right now, we're now October 6th. All the basic stuff in the game looks like it's functioning. You still have these queues, which is why you're seeing the screen that I'm broadcasting right now. This is, 2 days after the game launch, we still have these queues. So they still got to update their systems and do whatever the fuck they're doing. Now, on YOLO's side of this, he couldn't get in all night. So while I managed to get into the game a couple times, even though I exited out because shit was clearly not right, characters locked and all that stuff, currency not working, he couldn't get in at all. And it wasn't until he gave up. He got tired of sitting around looking at a fucking screen where nothing was happening. He kept getting in these queues. They would drop, then they go back up. So he ended up saying fuck it, and he went to bed. The next day, he tried it a couple times. He still had the same issue, but then later on that night, so yesterday night, he was finally able to get into the game. Like, fully in. And as far as I can tell, talking to him, all his shit seems to be there, too. The merge went properly. All my data from the PSN account, which is where I have all the hours, that all seemed to, I can see that all on the PC, all that seems to be fine. My diamond border that I had, because I had whatever the fuck it was, 3,000 some odd hours in the game on PSN, that's in the profile too. So all that stuff's there. The bigger problem is prior to us getting in the game, Smooth, that's the other guy I play with, he normally plays healer, we turned around, he finally got off work, and I had him in a fucking PlayStation chat with YOLO, and we were talking. And that might have been before YOLO got in there. But anyway, I was talking to him, and he was telling me that he was trying to do the SMS verification shit. And he was running into a problem. There was an error showing up, and it's going on about this fucking post-paid shit and all this stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking, now I followed all this shit for the last couple days in the forums and all that, so I knew about the fucking SMS bans on some of these fucking phone providers. But at the time, I didn't know that in his case, the reason why he was getting fucking banned from using his number was it was Cricket. And as soon as he said that to me, he said, Wolfman, he said, I'm with Cricket. I said, well, fuck, man. I said, I'm telling you, I've seen people talking about this where that specific provider has been fucking blocked by Blizzard. So you can't do it. You can't use that number to do the SMS verification. And he was ready to pack the game in. This is the problem with this kind of, like, Blizzard needs to think about this shit. This guy is a die-hard motherfucking guy that plays this game, has played it since it come out. Straight up. Unlike myself, where I don't buy any of the skins and all that shit, I pay for the initial game and fuck that thing and nothing else out of me. He was actually the reverse of that, where a new skin would come out, bang, he'd go and buy it. Didn't matter if it was $12 or whatever the fuck it was they were charging for the Overwatch League tokens, whatever, didn't matter. He always had it. Whatever it was, he had it. Skin-wise and shit. Die-hard fucking fan of the game, always playing it when he's got time to play it, and this is the guy that you're locking out of the game. He's not a fucking hacker. He's not cheating. You know, he's not fucking smurfing. He's just playing your game that you released in fucking 2016, the way everybody else, you know, all the guys play it. And this is the guy that gets shit on by your SMS stuff. So I was like fucking, I'm fuming. I'm sitting here, because this guy I play with all the fucking time. So I told him, I said, do you got any other numbers you can use? And basically, his whole family is using fucking Cricket. And apparently this is a lot more common. Now, in my case, I had a provider here, I've talked about this, I think, on one of the stream already, where in Canada, I think my initial number, which I had for 20-some-odd years, was prepaid. But then I started paying for one of the least costly plans, like no data or any of that shit. Just fucking unlimited calling, unlimited text. And I don't know if that flipped a bit somewhere, where when I used my number, it wasn't an issue, and it went through, or maybe it's because the provider I'm using, that's so fucking big here in Canada that they don't, I guess they don't dare fucking block that. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what Blizzard sees from their end, but I got through. So I was able to do it, no problem. So he turned around and I guess started thinking about it, and realized he had an aunt that might have a phone that might be on a different fucking actual provider, and he'll try that and see what happens. So he disappeared for about 10 minutes. He fucking got back on the mic after that. He said, Wolfman, he said, I managed to get through. I said, oh yeah. I said, so you use his grandmother's number, and she got the text and then sent him the text of the actual code that you need to use for the SMS verification. But I mean, this is fucking horseshit. You know? This guy works, has a job, plays the game in his fucking spare time, and because he's got this cell phone provider, he gets shit on? Like, it's fucking unreal. And the fact that they go on about, well, we want to stop cheating in the game, we want to stop hacking and all that. You know, that's a laudable goal. You can have that. But on the same hand, do you really want to be shitting on these fucking players like this guy that are fucking diehard fans of the game? So that you can keep your cheaters and your hackers out? Which, by the way, you're not keeping them out. You know anything about fucking cheaters and hackers, the way these guys are fucking, a lot of these guys, sure, you're going to get your script kiddies and shit, but they're usually using the hacks that the real smart motherfuckers, the guys know how to fucking hack and debug code and machine language, all this fucking shit. They're usually making use of shit that these guys have done the legwork. They've done all the work. And those guys you're not keeping out. I don't give a fuck what you do. If they want to get into your shit, they're going to get in. Can you put like fucking hoops in the way where they got to jump through these hoops to fucking to turn around and do this or whatever? Sure. But even in that situation, if I'm a cheat manufacturer and I'm making money off my fucking cheats, do you think I really give two flying fucks if I gotta go and buy another fucking SMS sim to get an actual legit number, right? To still keep hacking your gamer? Like, it doesn't stop these guys at all. It doesn't even address what they're doing. I think a better way, and I still haven't really heard why this couldn't be done, would have been to actually try and do like a hardware hash on the machines. Because at least there, in that situation, the game might be tied to that computer, right? And obviously you gotta have a way to untie that and stop, like, fucking basically, how the fuck do you want to put it? Because if your motherboard burns out in the fucking machine, or you get hit by lightning, or whatever the case may be, someone steals your fucking machine, whatever, there needs to be a way to disassociate the game with that computer. And then have it so you can fucking relink it to a new machine. But then also, if it relinks to a new machine, it doesn't work on the old machine. So you can't have multiple copies of the game running on hardware. Now, can this be defeated? Absolutely. Again, with the hackers. If these fucking guys want to bypass the system, it's been shown fucking time and time again, man, with Secure Boot, all these security mechanisms, all these companies do, it's a cat and mouse thing, man. The company will get one up, hackers will study it, they'll find a way through. Now they have the ball in their court, they'll patch, the companies will patch the hole. This goes back, it's like fucking the virus, antivirus shit, same thing, back and forth all the time. So, and that hasn't gone away. That's been going on for the last 30, 40 years. Still here. So, that shows you how effective all this shit is. They did need to do something if they plan on keeping the game active online, especially when they start. See, as soon as they go before the barrier to entry, that's what they call this, by the way, was you had to buy a copy of the game. So I don't know why they thought that was a barrier. I mean, if you're doing the hacking, do you really give a fuck that the game costs $40, man? You know, people are spending $1,500 on a graphics card. You think they care about $40 for a game? It's a fucking joke. But anyway, let's say that is a barrier to somebody. They figured that sort of kept them out because they had to go out and buy a copy of the game, right? Even though the Smurfs and the fucking, all the hackers and cheaters still can fucking go out and buy copies of the game too. But whatever, let's say if they want to say it's a speed bump, okay, fine. But when they went free to play, you remove that, right? Because now they can turn around and basically you can get the base game installed and working and fucking get in there. You don't got to go and buy a game. It's free. Download it and away you go. So I get that they had to put something in there to try and minimize the disruptiveness of people cheating and of your fucking Smurfs and all that kind of shit. I just don't think it's actually going to do any good. It might slow some of the shit down, but in the general scheme of things, we'll see. We'll see how maybe fucking it'll do more than what we think. But I also think that this is going to cost them a lot of legitimate users. I was talking to a fucking buddy of mine, he's in the UK, and these prepaid phones over there are used all the fucking time. By everybody. Like, this isn't just, the drug dealers and the hookers on the corner. Everybody's using this shit. So if Blizzard's made a big net here and they basically fucking wiped out a bunch of these prepaid fucking phones, that's gonna fucking kill off a lot of their user base. Now, in the forums, so before the game launched, I was watching this. It was a fucking shitstorm. People in the forums were pissed. Now, people generally in forums are pissed because they're normally the ones that have issues with the game, whatever it is. And so they get on the forums and they post. People that have the game working and have no issues don't post. So when you go to a forum, generally you're seeing the disgruntled employees, if you will, or in this case, gamers. So, but I could see right away that this SMS thing was starting to pop up more and more threads. The vitriol in the threads was getting a lot fucking, higher intensity and shit. And so, yeah, I could see that they were gonna have to make a different. Blizzard was gonna have to make a move on this. They were either going to turn around and fucking put their pitchfork in the sand and say, fuck you, we ain't moving, and it is what it is, and I think if they hadn't done that, it would have been a big cost. Because your game, this is not the time you want to be doing this shit. When you want everybody to be loving with open arms, man, you're free to play bullshit. And you want as many fucking, they talk about buying the game as a barrier to entry. Well, if that's a fucking barrier to entry, a bigger barrier to entry for me is if I got to go and get a fucking goddamn phone that's got a contract. That equals, in a year, far more money than your fucking $60 or $100 or $200 game will ever fucking amount to. So that's a major cost, right? Now, if you're some rich bitch, and you already have a Porsche fucking 911 and a fucking iPhone and all, then you're already on that plan, so it doesn't apply to you anyway. You're going to get into the game. Anybody else that doesn't want to spend that kind of fucking exorbitant cost on a cell phone and shit, they're fucked. Like if you want to use the prepaid shit. So, again, to the cheats and all that shit, once you open the game up like this, there's going to be more people, which means just by default, you're bringing in more hackers, more cheaters, more fucking Smurfs, everything, right? Just goes right across the board. But I don't know, this is a hard topic to solve, because, I mean, if you think about this from a programming point of view, it's like even the hardware hashing and shit like that, I mean, even there's ways to fucking bypass that, but someone would still have to go to the way to do it, right? Just like there's ways to bypass the current SMS shit, by using a number that is not on their block list. That's you bypassing, right? Blizzard's response to that, well, how many times can you do that, right? So in the case of Smooth, everybody in his family was on Cricket, so you couldn't use anybody in his family. He had to use his grandmother. Now, if she didn't have a normal phone that wasn't on a prepaid plan, I don't know if you would have found anybody else that could have. Like, basically got the code for him and gave it to him and shit. So in that regard, they're sort of right about that, but then on the same hand, what's the cost of that, right? You're losing this dedicated fucking gamer to your game. You're no longer pulling any money out of his pocket because he's not even playing your fucking game. And it's not because he doesn't want to play it. He can't play it. That's the difference. So, Blizzard, like I said, in their forums, was taking a fucking massive hit on this. And so they had to come out and make a statement. So what they've managed to do here, I got notes here, so every once in a while if I go slide, that's because I'm reading, I got to make sure I fucking cover all this stuff. This is the first look at Overwatch 2. That's what the title of this video will be, or this stream. And, so right here, so, Okay, so the current stance is Blizzard just released a press release a couple days ago, and they're backing off the SMS Protect for people that have played the game since June 9th, 2021. So if you've loaded this game up at all since that time, whether it's on console or PC or whatever, you no longer have to use the SMS Protect. Because I think where they're thinking about where they really need this in place is the new players coming in, right? All the fucking free accounts and all that shit, the free-to-play stuff. So I think that's where they're really hoping that this starts to weed the shit out. So anybody prior to all this shit, and I think even probably before that, you might be all right. It depends. I don't know, because like I said, my account's already been verified, so testing this out is a little bit of an issue here. So anyway, so they backtracked. They took enough fucking of a hammering on this that they had to turn around and say, okay, look, we see that this is, causing a major shitstorm, so we gotta reverse our, basically back the fuck up here. Reverse our path. And so it looks like, from what they're saying, these PR releases and shit like that, the press releases, they're doing that. But if you're, again, this problem still exists though, because if you're a new user coming in, especially via the free-to-play shit, like you didn't buy the game in 2016 and all that shit, then you're gonna be hit with this. It's not going away. that's the underlying thing here. It's not going away. So I don't know how they're gonna do like fucking countries, man, where the prepaid thing is really big and this becomes like a major fucking issue. They're gonna have to, I don't know if they're gonna have to throw the entire thing out, but they're gonna have to make massive changes, man. Because when this starts to be, one thing about these companies, as we know, free to greed, that whole system. Once the bean counters realize that, hey man, you guys are throwing money away because people can't get into the game because of the SMS stuff, that's going to get fucking, they'll delete that shit fucking faster than you can blink at that point. But it has to be made, there has to be a case made where it's costing them shitloads of money because of it, right? And as soon as it is costing them money, it's fucking gone. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Once that thing becomes a problem to them, money-wise, history. So, Smooth managed to get back in the game. He's playing the game, everything's good there. Another problem that we ran into, and this was last night, was YOLO's brother also played the game years ago as well, his younger brother. So when we first invited him into the group, he tried to merge his account, but it didn't merge. So he tried to merge it from the PlayStation 4, and now he's also on PC, and for whatever reason that didn't take. All right, they must have their systems overloaded, whatever the fuck's going on. Blizzard's already come out and said they were DDoSed twice, all this kind of fucking shit. It's one of the reasons why the queue thing was so bad the first day. And the server disconnects and all that shit. Well, we had YOLO's brother in there, in our actual group. Like, this isn't the match chat, this is our group. So there's three of us, me, YOLO, and his brother. And at first he was talking. And we could hear him, no problem. Then all of a sudden, about fucking, like, after a couple matches, we no longer hear from him at all. So YOLO and his younger brother live in the same house. So YOLO goes over and says, "What's going on? You got push the talk setup wrong? Like, what's happening?" He said, "No." He said, "They actually got the voice chat limited in game, so that you can't chat." Now, this is the other thing with fucking free to play, right? Because it's going to be utilized by assholes, they got to put like tons of asshole control into the game. So if you got people that get banned for cheating and all that shit, they really want to give them a venue so they can get back into the game and start causing all kinds of problems and stuff. So there's all kinds of limitations and shit on that, so that essentially doesn't happen. One of those limitations happens to be with this chat. Now, I don't know if this is an error or not on their side, but having the group chat like that, where that one guy that we invite him into a group and we can't even talk to him, you might as well make it so we can't even invite the motherfucker into the group. So unless this is a bug or something where it shouldn't be happening on their end, if they stay with this, it's fucking stupid. Because what's the point of fucking inviting him into... We can't communicate. We can't type to him. We can't even talk to the fucking guy. So why... Again, you're really trying to make it so people don't want to play this game, I guess, right? I can see that if you want to turn around and go down the road where you want to block the match chat, and I got problems with that too, because it's, the one thing with this game, man, and I fucking say it all the time, people do not communicate in the game. I'm talking about, never mind fucking free-to-play. Overwatch 1, free-to-play, I've seen it already. They don't want to communicate. So Blizzard's essentially making sure you can't communicate because you're fucking... It's almost like when you get silenced in game. So you get into arguments with people and they report you for being fucking defending yourself. I'll look at it that way. You can't fucking... You can still talk to people in a group that you make. That works fine. What you can't do is type in chat. So you can't type in any kind of fucking game chat. And you can't talk in any kind of match chat, so you can't use fucking voice chat there either. But group chat, and trust me, I know this from first-hand experience, you can fucking group up with people and still voice chat back and forth, which is the exact way this thing should be working with this fucking free-to-play shit, right? Otherwise, I don't see what's the point inviting the guy into your group. You can't even talk to him. It's just so fucking dumb. So hopefully this is an error on their part that they'll fix. So that's that they got to address. And trust me, they got to address a lot of shit here. They got all kinds of problems. As we're seeing right now, I'm in a queue of 200. So this is another thing here, right? So if they went free to play, and this starts to become common, I'm not sure this is going to be the case or not, because right now their servers are probably still trying to settle down from the fucking onslaught that happened on the 4th. But if this queue thing stays in place, this is going to be another reason why you just can't be asked to load the game up. Because if I got to sit here and wait fucking half an hour just to get into the goddamn thing, it's, sorry, I'd rather just fucking watch TV or some shit. So hopefully this is just a temporary thing that we're seeing here. So that's something else need to fix. Yeah, today when I tried to log in this morning, this is before what you're seeing here right now, it took me half an hour to get in. I think I was in a queue of 200 that were in front of me, and it took half an hour to get in. Well, like, that's better than on the 4th. On the 4th, you could literally sit there for 12 hours and not get in at all. But this is still annoying, regardless. Then we got other issues. So, from what I understand, this game is an upgraded version, the game engine, of the Overwatch 1 engine into what they're currently doing now. So it's been upgraded, right? So the core of it is probably still the same. They made some changes and whatnot. Kafri is one of the fucking top, or probably the top, sniper in the game, the Widow. So if you've ever seen any of his videos on YouTube, guy is just a fucking freak, man. Where Defran has got the things like Soldier and Tracer and just fucking unreal in his own right. This guy on Widow is just a fucking next level shit. Well, I seen a stream with him there last night, and it was looking to me like he fucking might just be bailing on the game entirely. And that says something, because the guy was in the game the whole time. So even during all these content droughts that people like to cite and all that shit, he was still there playing. All the time, every day. Still doing his thing. So for him to turn around and look at the game, and you could just tell, even when the stream was going on, you just by the expression on his face and shit, you could tell he wasn't impressed. He says the aim just fucking feels like the aim is off, and I've looked into this, there's other people that claim the same thing, and he was talking about, like, just the whole game besides the aim thing, the game didn't feel right for some reason. There's something fucking, maybe it's not quite fucking fully baked yet, I don't know, but there's something in there that now again, he was talking about doing this, whether or not he actually does it or not, stops playing the game or not, who knows. He said that if he did, and he went into another game, probably be Apex. He's not a big fan of the Valorant idea, never liked it, so if he goes anywhere to be fucking Apex Legends or whatever it is. So that's not good for Blizzard. I mean, he's one of the top fucking guys. Probably drags a lot of people to the game just because of his gameplay and shit, and he's talking about fucking going to greener pastures. Now, whether or not that happens or not, we'll have to see. I noticed when playing the game, there's a couple things. YOLO was telling me that Zen can kick now. Like, he could always kick, but when he fucking hits you, it literally fucking, like, it's like a knockback. It pushes you back. Now, I thought they were getting rid of the fucking knockbacks and the stuns. And yet here, again, this character that could never do this, he never had this ability, is now he can turn around and kick a Reinhardt with the shield up and, like, send him back fucking 30 feet. Turns out today I was watching a fucking Flats video, and I think it was unclear sort of the way they were covering this, but it almost looked to me like he was saying that fucking Zen thing was a bug, and it has been a bug in the game for 4 years. So he was initially supposed to be able to kick and actually send you back like that. But because it was a bug, it never did. Now, you gotta fucking ask yourself the question, 4 years, man? You guys couldn't find this? You didn't know? Like, how the fuck do you not know that? How did you not find it? It's fixed now, though. But now people are saying, like, why did they add this stupid ability? Well, apparently it was always there, it just didn't work. So it didn't always do the knockback like that. So that's got a lot of tanks and not a very good frame of mind, right? You go to fucking get on this guy to kill him, and all of a sudden he fucking kicks you off the side of a map or some fucking shit. It's a pretty good launch, too, when he kicks you. So that's an issue. I don't know what they're going to do about that. If they're going to live with it or fucking put him back to the way he was, I don't know. Other issues in the game are sound. For some reason, in their infinite wisdom, and I you know, you got to fucking put that in bold. Infinite wisdom. They decided to make Widowmaker's gun sound different. Like the shots when she fires the shots. Soldier's gun sounds different. Anna's gun sounds different. I never went through all of them. They were the three that I noticed fucking immediately. And to me, I think the sounds in the first Overwatch 1 were better than what's in the Overwatch 2. The other problem is they seem quieter. That's a fucking huge problem. Because in Overwatch 1, if the enemy team had a Widow, you didn't even necessarily have to see her to know they had her, right? You could hear the shot, and you could hear it from a long ways away. Which you would expect if you had a sniper using a big fucking rifle, and you'd expect it to make some fucking noise, right? So you'd expect to hear it. In this new game, though, her shit's pretty quiet. And again, when you start getting into these situations where you got a lot of stuff going on, we know the audio engine is a pile of shit, stuff gets taken out. And so her gun, because it's already quiet, if that doesn't make any fucking noise, or it's so quiet that you don't hear it over the background noise of what else is going on, that's bad fucking news. Because generally, if she's out there shooting, that means she can see your fucking team or parts of it, and that needs to stop. You need to basically get on her and get her the fuck out of there, or move your team to a position where she doesn't have no longer line of sight to your shit. The other thing I noticed this with was Junkrat's bombs. So when he would try and put a bomb down, jump in the air, that used to be a pretty significant sound that you could hear. So if you heard it, you knew that he was trying to get in the air for some reason or other. Maybe it's to come down behind you, or so that it was pay attention, right? You heard that, where the fuck is he, basically? That's what you start looking for him, right? That's quieting down too. So that also now is fucking harder to hear. Again, that's a mistake. Soldier's gun to me sounds like shit compared to the way it was, and it really didn't sound fucking fantastic in Overwatch 1, but I think it sounds worse now. And it sounds like she's using an airsoft rifle. Psst, psst. This kind of like just sounds, again, way different than in fucking Overwatch 1. So I'm not really super impressed with that shit either. Then you got this whole thing where you remove the tanks, basically. Like the fucking... So Orisa no longer, from what I can see, she doesn't have a shield. And yet she is fucking super overpowered the way she sits right now. Like almost... You get the right kind of healer on her, it's like you're dealing with a fucking raid boss in World of Warcraft. And I'm talking about the 40-man raid bosses back in the day. A real fucking pain in the ass to kill. The other tanks, though, Reinhardt, he's easy pretty much to jump on him and just fucking delete his ass. Sig is almost the same kind of fucking shit. I'm not sure about D.Va. Some people are saying she's really good, but most of the time I see groups, they're either running fucking Hog, which seems to get wiped out pretty quickly, or they're running fucking Doomfist. Same thing there. And so I think they need to, again, this is going to be another one of these things where they're going to have to rebalance this thing probably many, many, many times to try and get some of this shit right. But right now it seems like a lot of the tanks are just garbage compared to a couple of ones that are just like, oh, way overpowered. And that's horseshit. If you got a tank roster that's got a half a dozen tanks, every one of them fucking tanks should be viable. None should really stand out above the rest. And it looks like we currently have a situation right now with Orisa. From a healing point of view, I think Kiriko, I don't know what it is, man, when I play her, it doesn't seem like anything's going on. It's probably because of the fact that you got to turn around and fucking, if you're not hitting headshots with her, it's you know, probably better off on Zen at that point. Or Baptiste or something like that. But if you can land the head like this is ML7, right? The top Ana in Overwatch 1. He obviously has got fucking really good aim, quick reflexes and shit. So he probably could sit there and pop you in the head all fucking day long. Or Defran or Kafri or any of these guys, right? So in the hands of someone like different hands, she would probably be a good fucking pick, but I don't know. I find like even the hand movement going back, like it's like she's not doing much. That's just the way it looks to me. So I'm not super fucking, maybe I'll get used to her somewhere down the road, or they'll tune her somewhat more or whatever, and maybe she'll be fucking good at some point, but I wasn't that struck on her. Mercy and the other healer, especially Mercy, is you start healing some. It's weird with this fucking, the way they got the game. To me, this almost seems like we're going down the road of Call of Duty. Because some of these fights you get into, everybody is dead so fucking fast that you start to ask yourself, why do we have healers? Like, the tanks no longer fucking mitigate enough damage. There's no shields, right? Except for Reinhardt and fucking Sig. And both of those guys have their own problems. And so if there's no damage mitigation, essentially, Well, the team eats all this damage, and you're fucking like everybody's dead fucking immediately. And I don't understand why they thought going down this path was a good thing. The matches are faster. Yeah, they're faster because everybody's fucking dead. You know, if you're a Mercy or if you're a fucking Reinhardt in the original Overwatch 1. And trust me, that had fucking issues, right? Hog fucking using his ult, and you would charge, or you would be charging, and then Hog would turn around, use his ult, and literally fucking push you backwards when you're in the middle of a charge. It was the stupidest fucking thing they ever had in the game. Unbelievably fucking bad. And yet it's been there all this time. That's one thing Blizzard's really good for, is leaving bad shit in the game that just fucking seem to ignore. So you had stupid shit like that. You had Lucio. I don't know how many of these fucking top-rated tanks I see, man, that just get bounced all over the fucking place, man. It's like, instead of watching an actual match where you got two teams and you got these elite level tanks and shit, it's more like you're watching a Reinhardt inside a pinball machine, getting just fucking tossed all over the fucking place. And being on Orion and experiencing that is not a fucking fun thing, man. It's a useless feeling in that you can't. What are you gonna do? You know, and then as soon as the shoe comes down, poof, Zen puts a Discord on you. So now you get the fucking Discord orb on you. Which means that anybody can basically fucking headshot you to fucking rate the fuck out of existence in a fucking hurry. Okay, let's say they don't have a Zen. Well, then you get the Sombra, right? She hacks the fucking shit out of you. And then her hack enables her to do 40% more damage to you. You got no fucking shield. You got no flame strike. What are you gonna do? So that was fucking like the state of fucking Overwatch 1, and it almost seems like I was seeing the same type of thing happen in Overwatch 2. We still had Sombras running around hacking the fucking tanks. We still had Zen sitting there dropping the fucking Discord orb on the tank all the time, and we had the problem of fucking basically the team being fucking instantly deleted. On both sides, on when we were attacking and also when we were fucking the ones being attacked. And it baffles me as to why this is good. I don't get it. Like, it's good if you want to take the individuality of the characters out of the game. Because they got, like, May's freeze gun, or she can't fucking freeze shit. Only her ult can do that now. They went and removed a whole bunch of abilities. Stuns and all that shit. What are you supposed to do now with a Tracer fucking bounce around your back line the whole time? What about a ball when he comes in with all his goddamn infinite health and all the fucking shit that he can do? There's no way to stop that. May at least could turn around and fucking freeze his ass in place, give him a couple fucking headshots. You'd stand the chance of fucking getting rid of him. Or even just continually fucking freeze him until he's gone. One of the two. Being able to deal with the Doomfist. Coming in and fucking smacking you all over the fucking place too, right? You had the fucking McCree grenade. You had all these... Again, May, you could bring May in there if you wanted to. You could bring Sombra in and hack him and all that shit. But they got rid of so much of this shit, it almost makes me seem like... It makes it look like the fucking game is trying to minimize all the shit that these characters do. And then also make it more of the same. And now we have Call of Duty. Right? You still can say you got healers and tanks. But if the fucking healers and tanks are in the overall picture seem like they ain't doing much, what's the fucking point? It still all revolves around the DPS. Like, in large part, the DPS. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm sure as things go on, as more fucking feedback, that's the good thing about now that the thing's out there, even though it come out in a half-baked state and all that fucking shit. Now that it's out, they're going to start getting people looking at it, and there'll be probably tons of feedback coming in now. Because before you would have had the fucking pro players and all that shit. You'd have had the top streamers, they're all fucking, Grandmaster, top 500 and all that shit. And them guys, they should have fucking input into the game because they also play the game. But the player base, the other fucking 98% of the game, the guys that are not up there, need to also get in there and say, oh, hey, look, this is kind of fucking shit. Or this is good, or this needs to be fixed, or whatever, right? That kind of thing. So hopefully we see more of that, and hopefully the game gets more fucking tuned as we go to the point where someone like a Free can still fucking keep playing the game because it hasn't gotten into the fucking shitter yet. But also, all the other normal players can still get in there and feel like they're having an impact on a fucking match. Instead of just running out and dead. May the Kasuni guide you. Yeah, right into your fucking, right into the ground. Right? Dead. Alts that are just fucking doing, by themselves with no fucking help would be nasty as fuck. And then you've got her shit going on too, the Kasuni thing there, her alt. And it's just like, fuck, man. So, some of this shit just gets fucking crazy, man. Like, crazy, crazy, crazy. And if you're in front of it, Like you're trying to hold a point, or you're pushing that fucking robot around, or whatever the case may be, and that shit's going down, man. Fucking, it's almost like there's nowhere to go. You're fucking dead. Tank shields are gone, and nobody's running fucking the proper fucking kind of tank to begin with. So it's not like you got a Reinhardt sitting there. So you're eating up all the people don't understand that about the game. Like fucking, you can have a hog that can suck up damage, but okay, that's only good for him. Anything off to the left or right hand side of him, the bullets still go past. The shots still go past. If you're a healer behind him, trying to keep that fucking fat fuck alive, you still run the chance of being fucking hit. He might not fall over dead right away, but that doesn't mean you're not going to fucking fall over. So I don't know. I think the game, Overwatch 1 had problems, right? The double shield thing was boring as fuck. Because it was the reverse of this. There was so much protection from the shields that you'd spend I don't know how many times the soldiers, man, that's all I would do is run around and just fucking keep continuously breaking these fucking shields. All the time. It was like you had to do it like every couple seconds. If you had fucking tanks that could drop shields, you were constantly fucking trying to get these things out of the way. I don't know how many matches I've seen DeFran in where he was trying to get the shield out of the way. You're talking about a rank 1 fucking DPS, and he's sitting there blowing away the fucking shield because they can't, if they're there and present, they're a problem. So they gotta go. And that means you gotta spend the time to do it. So Overwatch 1 had its issues, shit that needed to be adjusted, all that fucking shit, but this here also to me doesn't seem like the right answer either in a lot of ways. I played Sojourn. Now keep in mind, most of my time in the game is all healer. Specifically Mercy. But every once in a while I would jump on fucking, other tanks and fucking other DPS and other healers and shit, so I got at least some time in some of these other things. And she seems alright. She's projectile though, which I'm not. Projectile always is a fucking funny thing for me. It just seems, you gotta get super used to the lead time on the target. So if they're strafing either left or right, you need to know, okay, this thing fires at a certain fucking speed, so I gotta move that crosshair either, a quarter inch in front of them, or maybe it's gotta be an inch in front of them, depending on what you're dealing with, right? And overall, I think she feels pretty good. Her slide thing she does, especially the fact she can go backwards, I thought that was fucking pretty neat the way she could do that, the way she could slide around. Her gun seems really good. The charged shot that she gets when when she's dumping damage into a target using the single shot she does, not single shot, but the full auto shot, that builds up her the rail cannon, her main shot, and that you just do a little bit of damage to somebody, then crack them with one of those motherfuckers, and they disappear. They're gone. So in that regard, which again, this goes back to this problem of everybody just getting fucking. You come out onto the battlefield, you stand there and you're dead. It's shit like this, right? And that's just her normal fucking ability. That's nothing. We're not talking about alts. You're not talking about what Kiriko can bring to the fucking picture there, or what a fucking nano alt can do from a fucking An or anything like that. It can get pretty crazy, and without major tankage going on, it's fucking, die spawn, die spawn, die spawn type of shit. So what else do we got here? You can just see now the game finally let me in after I don't know how long. I have to look on the stream to see when this thing's done, how long that took. It's a fucking substantial amount of time, though, to get in. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at this here. This is the interface now they've got here. I don't really, it is what it is. Now, instead of quick play, they got unranked. They probably tried to get rid of that whole notion. I've seen Jeff Kaplan I mentioned this before, where Jeff Kaplan was talking about that, where for some reason other people in the game seem to associate quick play with fucking full-on retards playing the game all the time. And it's never taken even remotely serious. That's bullshit, by the way. That's not always the case. There's a lot of that goes on, absolutely, because that's where you got to go. This is the unranked is where you go to learn how to play the character, right? But you also do get a lot of people in there that know how to play the characters. So it's a shit show in that a lot of games can be really bad, but then you'll have some games that are fucking alright. So you got that now, competitive. I haven't been in here. I'm going to probably end up starting to record videos on this, where I place, and I'm sure it's not going to be fucking high. But I want to see how all this fucking shit here pans out. I still haven't even, well, the other thing too, the reason why I didn't get in here yet was because with the servers doing their crashing bullshit, the last thing you need is a ban. And that can happen, right? If you drop a couple matches back to back, because their servers, not your problem, their servers are fucking up, the next thing you know, you're fucking banned, and I just didn't even want to get into that. Blizzard might have that system on. I don't know if they might turn that off for the next couple of days or so, just because of the way the servers are and shit, but just in case it's still on, I didn't want to fucking risk it. So there's that there. There's the look of that now. Back here. Arcade's still got all the modes that it's got. Push, Team Deathmatch, Bounty Hunter. That's Freefall. I don't think... I wonder what that one is. I don't think it's new, but... CTF now? Capture Flag? Well, actually, I think they always had that. I think. And then, of course, your low gravity and no limits and all that shit. I went into that no limits one time, man. Years ago on fucking Overwatch 1 as Mercy. Holy fuck. I only did it one time, man. I was getting fucking... My hands were getting sore. Because it was just unlit. Just the amount of fucking around, man. The speed everything was moving at and shit. Because no limits, right? You could fucking... Shit was generating quicker. The alts and all just fucking... No, sorry, dude. That's not for me. And start taking years off my life if I spend a lot of time in that fucking thing. So, the training, you still got this year. Practice range, practice versus AI. Tutorials. I think that's another thing, too, that bugs me, too, about the game, is that a lot of the top streamers, when they were talking, they were saying that the limitations that you have on free-to-play are good because it basically limits the choice that a new user has coming into a game. By the way, I think it's horseshit. It's going to make it... It's going to limit the choice, yes. It's going to give them less to fucking have to pick from. But I think if you know what you want to do when you come into the game, it's a massive limitation, right? In Overwatch 1, you could turn around right from the get-go and say, okay, like what I did when I started playing with fucking Hutch, the other guy I used to play with on PS4. I said to him, I said, what do you want to do? He said, well, I'll try fucking tank. So he went Reinhardt. I said, okay, well, the good fucking compliment to that would be Mercy, right? The healer. That's why I ended up with so many fucking hours on her. So I fucking healed his ass and kept him alive and all that shit, and that's just what we ended up doing. But there was no big discussion into, well, we should do this, or we should do that, or or my god, I can't make any choices because there's so many choices to make. There was none of that shit. We knew what we wanted to do, we got in, fucking do it. And I think that's the problem with when you have limitations on there, is that you have to go through this grind bullshit to unlock something that you might not even have any interest even in. But if you someday want to play it, you pretty much have to do this process just to get this shit fucking unlocked. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. The streamers will tell you that by having a system like that, which again I think is horseshit, that somehow they'll know how to play the game better because of it. No. It doesn't work that way. Because people are only going to pay attention to what they want to pay attention to. You could fucking go into I'm telling you, you could take one of the fucking Overwatch players, sit down in a classroom, go over every fucking character in the game, what the counters are to it, the whole 9 yards, and then don't see him for a week, and then bring him into a match again, they'll still be doing the same dumb shit they were doing before. It doesn't sink in. Like, you don't fucking... You know how long it took me as fucking Mercy to start damage boosting? Like, it was incredible. But the reason for that was that in the matches I was in, the fucking... If the DPS can't literally fucking kill anything, what are you damage boosting? And on the same hand, their positioning is so fucking bad that they're getting fucking, like, they're on the verge of being smoked. So then you have this fucking decision to make. Do you sit there and fucking damage boost them and pray to fucking God they finally actually start hitting something? Or do you try and keep them alive? And by default, by doing that, the longer they're alive, the more likely it is they will actually start to fucking kill something. So I used to have these, like, fucking insane fucking healing numbers, man, that were crazy. But actual damage, amplified damage from her, fucking zero. Then when I started playing with that Junkrat, and seeing different DPS and shit, like as time would go on and stuff like that, you could see that if you actually had somebody that knew what they were doing DPS wise, then the damage boost from Mercy made a lot of sense. Hence why you see Defran in a lot of his matches, wouldn't say all of them, but in a lot of them, he's constantly got a Mercy fucking shadowing him the entire time. That's because he does so much killing that it's critical that that motherfucker stays not only healed, but if he dies, there's a res right there immediately, and also, more importantly, the damage boost, which he's damage boosted all the fucking time, which is why he gets the kill. Like, obviously, his skill is massive too, but they basically use everything they can to make sure that his numbers stay the way they are, and that includes the Mercy doing damage boost. So in that situation, I could see 100%. Spending all your time damage boosting, if there was an Ana, and this is the other problem, right? You need to have a second healer, that if you're going to devote all your time to this fucking DPS guy, and let's say he's good, then somebody needs to be fucking watching the team. And if they can't do that, if they can't heal the fucking what's going on with the tanks and the other DPS or whatever, this is a fucking, like, unless you got a very good DPS, it's a lose-lose situation. Because if the fucking team, and especially a good portion of it, gets wiped out, it ain't going to matter what you're doing DPS-wise, there's just not enough of you to make a difference. Someone still needs to move the cart. Someone needs to push an enemy back, despite the fact that you might be running around trying to flank up top or whatever the case may be. So if you got a good Ana that can keep the thing rolling downstairs while all that's going on, then you got fucking a Mercy damage boosting a top DPS guy or something like that. That's a whole different fucking kettle of fish. But in the matches I was in, that was not fucking even remotely close to going down. So because of that though, it took a long time playing the game where fucking I just wouldn't damage boost because in my situation, it didn't warrant fucking doing it. You would do the ults and stuff, right? Like if a soldier had an ult and he was near you that you could actually get to him quick enough, you might put the fucking damage boost on him and get that going. Genji was a bit of a trickier fucking thing because generally the way them fucking guys want to bounce around and all that shit, like if he doesn't tell you ahead of time that he actually wants you to fucking damage boost and he lets you know when the ult's ready so you can actually get ready to stay on him, with a fucking guardian angel and all that shit. Once he starts going off, it's like trying to fucking kill a fly with a fucking fly swatter. He's bouncing all over the fucking place. You gotta somehow get onto this fucking guy and then get the damage boost going and also hope that you're up in the air or somewhere out of the way where you don't get wiped out as well, right? This Mercy just standing still is a problem. That's usually a dead Mercy. So, that's been my take on the fucking, on the healing and the damage thing. But what I was saying about that was that it took a long time to not do that. And to start trusting the DPS a little more and start putting more damage on, like put the damage boost on them and shit like that. So then I went from fucking doing zero damage boost to like fucking, 500, 1,000, 1,500. Well, that's good. And at the same time, I still try to keep the healing at the same level too. But so many people in the game will just learn how to do something the wrong way, or not the most optimal way, however you want to look at this, and they just stay doing that exact thing. YOLO is a perfect example of that. Where you gotta constantly tell the guy, man, get up in the high ground, man, go around behind him. And he'll do that one time, and then you wait 5 minutes later, man, don't say anything to him, and watch. And he's not doing that no more. That's a problem, right? Because, especially up in the higher level games, that's the kind of a difference between winning the fucking game and not. And so if you don't learn to do it, you're kind of fucked. And that's going right into, that's starting the match, you're in a bad position right off the fucking, right out of the gates. And that can be said about so many of these fucking heroes all the way across the board. The fuck was I going to say there? Yeah, a second here. So we covered the sound issue. Oh yeah, the scoreboard is another one. This is another fucking thing. So, when all these fucking streamers were out there talking about the game and you've seen the early footage and all that shit because they had access, because Blizzard gave them access, everybody was going on about how good the scoreboard's good in that it lets everybody see, like, for example, what's your heal, like in the case of Mercy, how much healing has she done and fucking how much damage boosting, right? So you can see that. The problem is, and this is for me again where Blizzard drops the ball. Where in the fuck on that fucking scoreboard is the numbers where, as Mercy, for example, she's a good example of this, I can see who I've healed through the entire match. So if you got, say you got a DPS, he says, I've never been healed. And you say, bullshit. I was on you all kinds of times, you just didn't notice. That's actually a real thing in this game. With tunnel vision, and I see it with myself, because it's funny, because me and Smooth experience this all the time, where when I'm fucking running around as DPS, I'm focused on that little fucking 2-inch circle in the middle of that screen. When he's Mercy and his fucking damage boost comes on, or his fucking his healing comes on, or whatever, that fucking icon, I don't even see it. I'm too busy trying to track what I need to fucking kill, make sure that I'm not getting killed by somebody, that type of shit. So you don't see that stuff at all. And then you're dead. And I say to him, like, what the fuck, man, where were you? He says, I was healing it. And it's not till you see the actual replay of your death that, yeah, he was healing, you just didn't fucking see it. They could have made that whole situation almost not needed. Like, it never needed to happen. If the scoreboard that they put in there, they should have also turned around and had a category on there for who the fuck you've healed. And by how much. And if you want to put Mercy's damage boost in there, put that in there too. But why that's not, again, this really fucking drives me nuts with this company, man, with Blizzard. It's the basic shit like that gets left out that's seriously fucking annoying. The amount of fucking arguments I've had with people that turn around and say you're not being healed, or they're not being healed, is incredible. And you were healing them. And if they could see that you were healing them, it stops all that bullshit right in its tracks. It doesn't happen. Because how the fuck are they gonna? They can pull up the same screen you can pull up, and they can see the numbers and say, "Well, wait a second, you know, the healer healed me for fucking 4,000 healing." Well, you can't say you're fucking not healed then, right? They didn't put that in the game. Now, whether or not that comes somewhere down the road, Blizzard tends to move at a glacial fucking pace, so I wouldn't hold my breath. But it's not there right now. I can see what I've done total healing, but I can't see who I've healed or who I've damage boosted and by how much. That's not in there. So that's another fucking problem. So we went over the play thing here. Here you got the heroes. Yeah, see, here she is here, Kiriko. So when I first started loading this game up, most of this shit was locked when it didn't do the transfer of my fucking account properly. And it was funny because where I noticed it was actually with her, with Kiriko, I seen the lock, and then I noticed the lock on all these other fucking characters too, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? I mean, all that shit should be unlocked for me. I've been in the game since it fucking come out. So that wasn't until 3 a.m. the next day that all of a sudden this stuff actually opened up properly. Well, yeah, so that's, you got the heroes there, then you got the fucking shop, of course. This is where they're going to make all their billions of dollars. I bought the watch point packs, so I got fucking 2,000 of these credits. The funny thing is, I thought they fucking had the currency listed here somewhere, but I don't fucking see it. This is the seasonal shit. Get this stuff too. Overwatch League if you want to buy these skins. Whatever the current skins are. Let's see, Soul Dynasty. What do we got here? I like that color. The black and gold looks pretty good. There's Bastion. The fucking Brigida. Game breaker extraordinaire. Cassidy. So this is a good example. So here's another thing, right? So I get on Cassidy. I can't fucking use this motherfucker where the fuck, man. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't... It's hard to hit fucking shots with him. I don't know why. I actually have more luck hitting shots as Anna, for some reason, unscoped, than I do trying to actually shoot anything with his gun. So, they took a stun grenade away, right? Because they got rid of all these stuns and shit. And now he's got this fucking grenade. Actually, I might be able to show this. So if we go into the... Oh, wait a second. What the fuck out of here? Yeah, so if we go... training, yeah, right here. Practice. So where is it? Yeah, here he is here. So I'm playing this the other night, and I'm thinking he's still, for some reason, I still think he has the stun grenade. So I'm getting in these engagements, and I'm throwing this fucking thing, and I was thinking, I said to the owner, I said, what's going on? I said, why, I'm not fucking, I'm throwing the stun grenade, but people ain't getting fucking stunned. He said, they got rid of it. And I thought, oh, you fucking sons of bitches. So, what you got now is this, right? You go over here. That grenade sticks to them, and it takes like fucking 3/4 of the health, right? One extra shot and they're gone.
See that?
Probably a body shot would be the same thing.
That'll tan your head.
Yeah, so if you can land the grenade and then also fucking get a shot off body or head, they're fucked. You also see up here in the corner in the left-hand side, just above the fucking frame rate counter and shit, the latency. These little fucking orange icons, there's two of them. There's one that has a fucking half moon type of thing that shows up too. And that was a common thing under, it's to do with the fucking the lag and all that kind of shit. And server lag as well. And so they haven't solved that because I see those as frequently in this game as I did in fucking Overwatch 1 all the time. And it's not my connection. The connection here is fine. It's fiber. So, but this here, if I go to the... This is one of the watch point skins right here. So that looks pretty good as a pirate. And that's the thing. I bought the watch point pack. I'm not a big fucking believer in giving these guys money. Because I think they fucking... they take too long to do shit, or they don't do shit at all. So I'm not paying for that. Now, in the case of Overwatch 1, I bought the initial game. That was fine. I paid the fucking price for that. If they had to charge... I think when that came out, it was like fucking $40 or something like that. If they had to charge $60, I would have paid that too. Right? Once I agree... Like, once I fucking figured, okay, let's get in there and try it, even though I knew it was Blizzard and there's going to be all kinds of balance bullshit going on. I said, fuck it. I'll pay for it and get the game. I had no problem with that. I'm not going to buy your loot boxes. And this is where if you listen to the streamers on this, you say, well, people expect them to keep releasing content for free. No, actually, I don't. If they had to use the expansion fucking model that these fucking game companies have been using for the last fucking 30 years, I would have bought that. Right? If it was any good, I would have bought the thing. So they could have got money that way too. But you're not going to nickel and dime me continuously over and over and over and over again. It's like when you go into this game here now, and you want to fucking, where is it? Leave game. I think so when you get a battle pass, if you want to, yeah, see that? Actually, this is going to take considerable time too to unlock. I mean, I've got a couple hours in this already, and it's already at like fucking 14. You're probably going to be spending maybe a week, like, and that's if you're in there all the time to get this thing up to 80. Maybe 2 weeks. It depends, because I don't know if this starts to slow down as you get up into the higher levels of it. To me, this is all bullshit. You know, like this. What the fuck is this? What the fuck am I going to do with that? Right? Or this here? But I guess some people care about this shit.
Perhaps we only exist in the memory of a person now gone.
There you go. That's a fitting thing to say when you look at this game and how often people die. So that's the fucking... but if you want to... the new hero, that's Kiriko there. You can try... That's one good thing about that. At least they made it so you can try her in the fucking practice range and shit like that for you buy her. You get it free with the fucking watch point pack. Free at level 1. If you didn't get that and you had to grind, it's level 55. But where the fuck is it? The shop? I see 2,200 coins here for this, 500 for this shit. This is where they're gonna be fucking pulling in their big bucks. There's the watch point pack that's already owned. Seasonal. I can't remember if that was actually in the shop or not. Premium Battle Pass. I own that. Okay. Well, let's have a look. That's the Genji skin everybody's making a big deal about. But anyway, I don't know where the fuck it is now, I forget. Rewards, new hero. Oh no, this is the fucking thing right here. Okay, yeah. Look at this. 13,400 of these coins. If you wanted to fucking basically forgo like this is, we're talking whale shit now, right? People with all kinds of money. So if you wanted to get the battle pass and max the fucker right up and not have to do this grind from 1 all the way up to 80, which is, like I said, might take you a week or two if you're in there all the time. You can forego the grind as long as you want to forego the dollars. And this is not cheap. You're looking at fucking 13,400. And I think that was well over $100 to do that. Now, if these battle passes were rare or something like that, then, you know, I still wouldn't do it, but you could, that's sort of a thing in and of itself. But the fact that they're going to be fucking blowing these out every fucking 6 weeks or whatever the fuck it is. 6 weeks? Yeah, month and a half. So there's going to be lots of these per year. And you just seen the fucking cost of them coins, how much. The thing is, I don't remember where the fuck the goddamn screen is that showed you the cost of the coins. But I know to get that many coins, I think that's the maximum amount you can buy. Like, you have to buy the biggest package, obviously. And that was well over $100 Canadian for that. So one day I'll find that and show that if I ever fucking manage to find it again. And then here you got, rear profile. So this is whenever they gets merged, right? Here's the, my PlayStation 4 diamond border. For all the hours dumped into her, pretty much. Well, there was more than her, but a lot of them into her. So what you're seeing here now is the merged account between the PS4 and PC. So right there, 1,894 hours in her. 395 in Anna, 179 in fucking Zenyatta that I can't hit anything with. I don't know what it is. It's the projectile shots, man. His shots just fucking fuck me right up. He's another one of these guys where it seems like you're doing an awful lot of shooting, man, but you ain't really fucking doing much. But then all of a sudden you'll fucking crack somebody in the head and they'll just fucking be dead. So, again, it goes back to the aim, right? So you got all your statistics and history, achievements, all that kind of fucking shit. But it's good to see the hours. Total hours time played, 4,062. And then you got your fucking gay-ass challenges. I'm not a big fan of this shit. My thing is, I'm not a fan of grinds, period. Anytime you take a first-person shooter, where it's one team kill the other team, and then start diluting that by putting all these stupid fucking challenges in there, it's just a pain in the ass, right? Hold your shield up at this angle of the sun to all of a sudden get this fucking achieve. Fuck off, man. You know, you're gonna have all these people in these matches just doing dumb fucking shit. Just to get these challenges, to get these fucking coins, because they don't want to have to spend any fucking money. So it's kind of a, you're introducing problems into the game that didn't need to be there. But this is, free to greed, man. That's what this shit is. Ain't no fucking getting around that. Not now. Not that they went down this road. So that's all that shit. So yeah, so overall, I think I'll cut this here. There's still problems. Obviously, this is all these streamers and all, Blizzard including this, they all say that this is not fucking basically Overwatch 2 in a done form. This is the beginning of it. So think of this as like a new start basically for them. So on that note, if in fact that's the fucking case, then they're going to have to still get in here and tweak and do quite a bit of shit. Just go over these notes one more time here. Yeah, so far I don't know if it's because the audience for this game has picked up, but the roll queue times all seem pretty good. Usually around about less than 3 minutes for DPS, healing, and tank. So that's a plus. I don't know, that might go down if fucking people start leaving the game in droves. As is known, when the game fucking released on 3 p.m. on that fucking October 4th, they were also getting under fucking, they had 2 DDoS attacks hitting them. So they were going to have problems without the DDoS attacks, right? Just basically everybody trying to get the game and play it, that's its own official DDoS, if you want to call it that, right? So many people trying to hit the servers, that creates a problem. Then on top of that, you got that happening, plus, people want to be fucking assholes and bombard the servers with other shit too. So I would imagine it would have been a proper nightmare. I mean, for the VIP of Blizzard to come out and have to talk about it, and the fucking guy in charge of Overwatch had to come out and talk about it too on Twitter and shit, It's gone right to the top, and it does affect the image of the game. But people always refer to the fact that it seems like all these big AAA fucking launches have issues, and that's to a certain extent is true. GTA 5, it was, on Xbox 360 when I was playing that. That was a fucking shit show. I lost a character in that, so I turned around and made a character, I managed to get in the game, and then something happened to the servers, and fucking next thing you know, that character was gone. Like, completely fucking gone. Couldn't undelete or anything, it just fucking disappeared. So I made another one, and I figured, I hope they solved this shit. So anyway, a couple days go by, and that was the last time. It only happened one time, but that, as well, was a shit show, too. There was all kinds of problems. Server connections and all that shit. Red Dead Redemption, same issue, right? All kinds of problems when the fucking game launched. Problem there is that they managed to keep all those problems all the way through the game being released for a year. Their fucking multiplayer was an abortion. It's probably still an abortion. There's Thor, one of the most egregious things I think I ever seen put into a fucking video game. And probably still the exact way it was when it got put in. So they're pretty fucking low on my list in terms of if they make anything else in the future it's any good. I think I'll just pass. Because it's, they're only interested in one thing, and that's fucking their user base, and that's it. You don't turn around and make something like fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, make the single player that good, and then fucking sub out the multiplayer to the point where it's just a complete pile of shit. I don't even know how the side that made the single player can turn around and look at the multiplayer and not just shake their fucking heads. Because it was a complete fucking shit show. And it was like that, like I said, well over a year. It stayed that way. They had all kinds of problems. You couldn't fucking... This game's based on the Wild West. And yet you get in the fucking game and there's like one bison. You literally had to sit in these fucking fields, man, for hours and hours and hours, maybe just to see 3 or 4 spawn. And then you would go to run over to hit the fucking thing, you would turn around because you see something behind you or something like that, and then you fucking turn back to where the bison, and the bison are all fucking gone. They all fucking disappeared. So there was fucking shitloads of problems. Your camp, which you needed to do all your functions in the fucking game, That would take you literally a half an hour just to get that fucking thing placed on the ground. Because of all the bullshit problems they have with that system. It just went on and on and on, man, with the amount of problems that game had. The fact they even had the nerve to stick a fucking store in there with the multiplayer being in that kind of shit state when they released it is just fucking... it's one of those things where you just say, wow, man. Like, talk about out to lunch. So they got pretty low on my list, man, in terms of importance after that fucking clusterfuck. They already were pushing their luck with GTA 5 and some of the bullshit with that. But this was way worse. And it's too bad because the single player... Well, actually, I went out and bought the fucking... I think it was like the Epic version of the game, too. That cost me like 120, 130 bucks. Because I thought the fucking multiplayer in Red Dead Redemption would be good. Red Dead Redemption 2, whatever the fuck the number is. So... And this is part of the problem, right? They release a single player, and then they fucking withhold the multiplayer for a month. Because they know that if they release that at the same time, it might not even be ready. That's one of the reasons why they're going to withhold it, right? Because we know they don't spend any time on this shit. But I think the bigger reason is the reviews. You do not want that multiplayer in that state to be in the game while people are reviewing the single player, then all of a sudden they say, yeah, the single player is good, then they look at the multiplayer and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. And this thing is fucking garbage. So that's ultimately going to affect the entire rating of the fucking game, right? So they conveniently hold that off for... That might not be why they do it, but it's convenient that all of a sudden it works that way, right? Well, let's make that so it doesn't release for a month. And then you get these the game fucking review sites and shit to say, well, it's a review in progress. We'll give you the full fucking verdict when the multiplayer unlocks a month away. Problem with that is that if you go in there and rave the single player up to the high heavens on how fucking great that is, it ain't gonna matter what the fucking multiplayer is. People are gonna read that the single player is good and go and buy the fucking game. And it's only a month later they're gonna realize, hey, this thing's fucking fucked. And my thing is that had I known that, I would have just bought the base game. Because the multiplayer was a complete fucking joke, man. Like, I was so disappointed with that, it was incredible. And, why give them... I basically paid fucking twice the amount for the game to get this fucking epic version of it, which gave you a couple guns, I think a fucking couple horses or whatever in multiplayer. I forget what the deal on that was. But I spent that money on it, and then I basically got fucking shafted. Whereas if I had just spent the $60 and seen the single player the way it was, and the multiplayer was shit, then I wouldn't have fucking, it's still a shame that it's shit, but at least I didn't spend a bunch of money. Whereas in my case, I did spend a bunch of money, and the multiplayer was garbage. And it's the multiplayer that keeps these games going. That's the fucking thing people gotta understand. The single player, you go through there and you'll fucking play that for a week or two and you're done. Maybe you play that fucking again months down the road or a couple years down the road or whatever, but generally, people I know anyway, they don't do that. They play it through the fucking first time right to the end, and they're done with it. The multiplayer, if it's done properly, can keep people into one of those... Look at fucking GTA. And trust me, GTA's got issues. GTA 5, lots of them. But it's good enough in that it can keep a lot of people tied up in the game for fucking years. And it made them billions of dollars on the shark cards. So, they had to spend a little more time on the Red Dead side. Got that thing ironed out, got it fixed. It would have been a whole different game. So with that, I gotta look over these notes here, make sure nothing's being fucking missed. So I hope the queue times go away. That's one of the things we showed here in the beginning. Yeah, performance and all that shit with the game seems to be the same for me. So I run this game at fucking low resolution, 1080p, and all details to low except texture details to high. Dynamic rendering is off. I've had that on and off. I didn't really see a difference. Minimum frame rate set to 240, maximum frame rate 240. So, low, and the reason why I did that with the low was that when I'm streaming this, I don't want the fucking frame rate bouncing all over the fucking place. Because when you start getting all these visual effects on the screen, that can tank the fucking frame rate down a bit. Then it goes back up and all that shit. Just, no, fuck that. Let's try and minimize all that shit. Keep the frame rate steady, and that way we can stream it like that. So that's why I have it set to low. But other than that, it seems alright. There's been a couple fucking lag issues and some weird fucking graphical artifacts and shit that show up. I don't know if that's because their servers are fucking shit in the bed over on Blizzard's side or what's going on, but there's been some weirdness in the game that way. Not all the time, but I have seen it. And it's hard to actually describe it unless I had a picture of it, which I don't have. But there was some fucking... I was playing, I think it was Sojourn, and the character model, it was almost like it was being copy-pasted to the screen like multiple times, like just slightly over itself off to an angle, and then all of a sudden, like it did that for a fraction of a second, and it straightened itself out. I don't know what the fuck that was. And this isn't Wi-Fi, this is all LAN connection, fiber optic fucking internet, all that shit, so nothing to do with any of that. And like I said, and Overwatch 1 ran fine. So anyway, performance on the game is good. Queue times are all right for so far. I don't know if that might change going down the road or not. We'll see. And I think for now, I'm gonna play. I'll do a review of this once I've actually got some serious fucking time into it. And because I don't know what next week they might release a balance patch or something like that changes the whole outcome of this thing, right? Or a month from now or whatever. So we'll have to see how this goes. I'm sure if they're expecting money from it, they're gonna keep patching and shit now. Because if they don't, their fucking ship is going to be at the bottom of the ocean, if you will. So on that, I think they need a better scoreboard. They need to actually show who you've been healing and for how much. And the restrictions on the first-time players to the game, with them not being allowed in fucking voice chat and shit, that's either a bug or that's a real bad decision too. And the SMS shit, that was a shit show. With the cricket stuff. So yeah, I think for now we'll just leave this as the first look at it. There'll be probably another stream of this tonight that'll go up, and that'll be a full stream of me in there with YOLO and probably Smooth as well. And I'll be playing the game, so that'll actually give you a chance to see, what this thing does when it's actually playing the actual games, the matches and shit. So on that note, we're gonna fucking put this to bed, this stream here, and this is Wolfman, this is Overwatch 2, and this is the first look at Overwatch 2. Take it easy and have a nice day.